Hi, I'm Andi the Knittress, and this is my space on the internet where I like to make you listen to me talk about yarn. Well, I can't make you do anything. You're here for a reason. So, I sort of feel like I have nothing done, but at the same time, I've done a lot. I've been weaving quite a bit lately, so that's probably why I feel like I haven't gotten any knitting done. And most of the weaving that I've done has been gifted to people. So I'm gonna do a little thing today where I try and edit this video and put in pictures of the things that I've gifted. If you see them, then it worked. And if you don't, then it didn't. So I made a few sets of dishcloths actually. A few of my coworkers were gifted some dishcloths, as well as I sent some to Chevis and Aquila because I wanted to. When I was warping up those dishcloths, the colors just really reminded me of them. And like Aquila's little camper, and it was very Chevis colors, and they both showed them on their podcasts and they love them, which made me happy. So if I don't figure out the pictures in here, you can go see them on their podcasts because they both showed them. But in the meantime, I do have some weaving to show that I finished. This is a scarf that I wove for my husband. And this was a skein of, I want to say it was Nebula. I'm pretty sure it's Nebula. And it was called Aries, and that is the weft. The warp is Quidditch Pitch by Knitted Wit. Say that 5 times fast. I can't. But it is a very, very lightweight scarf, and he just loves it, and he's been bugging me for it, but I told him I can't wear it until I show it, because those are the rules. I make the things, I make the rules. But I just really, really love how when it warped up, so the warp would be these length colors that you're seeing here. It kind of pooled in some spots. It's kind of awesome. And then like, you can sort of see how like it's, the weft was a similar color palette there. So you can see how it was yellowy, and then it got into a green as it went, and I just like it. I never did get into like the red, which bummed me out, but that's okay. It was a lot longer. I'm not used to, I haven't figured out all the maths yet behind weaving, and I'm just gonna always probably just wing it. So, because it was a skinny scarf, it did not take nearly as much of the weft because I didn't have as much to go over. So there's that. And another thing that I have finished, I'll show that in a minute. I finished all of my socks finally from Nitty Bow and Aquila. So, you know, it's a team effort there because he dyes the yarn, she cranked it up for me, and all I had to do was heels, toes, and cuffs. And you saw a lot of the socks that I finished last time. And here are the rest of them. So this is Twilight Twist, and then I have It's probably Hedgehog Fibers minis. And Sorry Not Sorry might be the colorway. I don't know. But anyway, I love them. They're mine. And I really love that I can get, you know, 2 pairs of socks out of 100 grams. Just add a mini, and I've got heels, toes, and cuffs. And they're super comfortable, and I can't wait to get my own sock machine so that I can make all the socks. And so next I have, that was my finished pair. I think I showed you his last time. And so then this is my finished pair of Don't Spill the Mom Juice. False. This is his finished pair of Don't Spill the Mom Juice. My finished pair is on the wall over there. And I don't remember which one I showed last time. But they're both gorgeous. This yarn, as well as the yarn I used in there, is Driftwood. The Heels, Toes, and Cuffed is Driftwood Farm and Yarn Co. I do believe they sell candles also. It's a cute little yarn company on the coast here. And that's the Don't Spill the Mom Juice socks. And then I finished my Guy Fieri Was Here socks, and I ran out of, so I bought some of the Knitted Wit minis, or the gumballs. No, that's the word, sweet. Smarties? I want to say Smarties. It's either like, it's probably Smarties. I don't know. Whichever her fingering weight minis are that we had at my work, that's what I bought. But they only come in 10 grams, and so I didn't buy enough. So I had to add another color to the top. And I figured it looks fine, even though it sort of now reminds me of a pencil. I don't care. They're for my feet. So those are mine. I should have put these all on blockers. I wasn't thinking. I just was excited to get on here and show you what I'm showing you today, because I've been holding on to some of these things and I want to wear my socks. So this is Stray Cat Strut, and these are my husband's, and I love the color I chose for his heels, toes, and cuffs. It really matches so freaking well, and I'm kind of jealous because I just love that yellow, and I wish I would have chose it for my socks. But for some reason, every time I, dive into the tubes, I always knit his first. I always end up doing his first, and I don't know why. But I just love this yarn. I love these light little color, like this little tiny, like peach pops in there. I just love this. John did an amazing job on this color. You can tell like he really liked dyeing this color. He must have been in like the zone, chilling out to his music. I just like it. So those are his, and those are done. I did a different afterthought heel. Was it on these? There's like an extra deep afterthought heel. I can't remember if that's what it's called. Somebody pointed out the pattern. I did do it on these. So there's like some short rows here in the back of the heel. So it's on the part, of the heel that attaches to your leg, not the one that is connected to the bottom of your foot, which gives it a little bit of extra depth, and it kind of hugs your heel a little better. And I really like the way that fits. My husband is not actually as fond of that heel. He just prefers when I knit. So this one, I knit like 10 rows before I started the decreases for the heel. He prefers the way that fits as opposed to the short rows in the back of the heel. So I did not do it on this one. I did it on that one. One of his pair, yeah, this pair here, the Don't Spill the Mom Juice of his, I did it there, and he's not a huge fan of it. He said he'd prefer for me to do the original way that I do it for him. But I like the way that fits my foot better. And so then here, are my Stray Cat Strut socks. See how like the cool yellow, I don't know, just like, I mean, the gray matches lovely, but I just wish I'd have done mine in the yellow and not his. It's okay. They're all socks and they'll get worn. I just love them. So that's about all the knitting. False. That's most of the knitting that I've finished. I have finished this awesome cowl that Aquila designed, and this is Grab Yo Drink, and it was a sock set that I got from Arctic Crafts, Bente. This was the color for the heels, toes, and cuffs that came with it, and then the main color behind there is the Grab Your Drink color. And this one and this one were another driftwood mini that I had picked up from work. And so I just repeated the bottom and then the second one, and then this guy was its own. I kind of like it because it's almost like it's dark and then light and dark and then light and then dark. I don't know. But I want to see the inside. So the special thing about this pattern that Aquila wrote is she writes in there where to catch your floats. And I, as an experienced colorwork knitter, know where to catch my floats now. But in the beginning I did not. And I can tell you I made plenty of colorwork garments where I did not alternate my floats. And you ended up with a weird pucker. So, there's my floats, all my weaving in ends, but if you look right here, see there's a float and then it's over and then it's over, and she alternates them. She has it marked in the pattern where you should catch them, which is very handy for a beginner person wanting to dabble in color work, and it's a very neat pattern. It's very quick. She did send me, like I told her I'd tested it for her, she did send it to me, and when she sent it to me there was just the one chart, so I assumed that they got stacked where I just started that chart at the beginning every time I needed to. Her initial plan was to have them staggered, which I almost, funny enough, when I was knitting it, I almost was like, I wonder if she'd be okay if I staggered my hearts. Oh no, I'm not going to message her and ask her because I don't want to alternate. I don't want to, it's a test knit and I don't want to change it. And then she messaged me, she's like, I sent the wrong chart. So I am working on another one where I'm going to stagger them. And I think I have a little bit of a better contrast in the colors I chose, but I love this. It's not necessarily, I don't know if this yellow will look good next to my face. I say that as I'm wearing like chartreuse green. Let's see. I don't know, maybe. I was thinking about gifting it to somebody, but I don't want to because I love this colorway. But I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I can get my husband to wear it. It's kind of cool. So I finished that. And I am working on another one. So the color palette I've chose is a little bit different. And I am going to do a thing. So I have, my hair is falling down. I have knit the Snuggle is Real cowl before for my husband. And if you've watched my previous episodes, you would have seen them, or it. And it's basically like a double-sided cowl, so it has a little bit more structure to it. So that's what I'm going to do with the second one here. So I did a provisional cast on, and I did extra double ribbing, and then I will, tuck that in. There will be a solid color tube that I will have on the inside. so it'll be a little thicker. I don't know what the color is I'm putting on the inside yet, but I have started this, and I'm going to alternate colors, so this stripe will be this lovely, I don't know, burgundy. No, burgundy's more brown. I don't know, this color here, and then the gray, and then I'll go back to the pink one, and then gray, and then pink, and I'll end with a pink because there's 5. And so this color here is from a sock blank that I got from a knit box a long time ago, and the sock blank was by Essence of Autumn, and it's just like fun, like different colors, and I like it. And then I've got some leftover Stray Cat Strut that's going to be in one of the hearts, and some Don't Spill the Mom Juice that's going to be in one of the hearts. And then I've got another one from Driftwood Farms. Like, they kind of all are in the same speckledy color family, so I really like them. And these are the 2 colors that I'm alternating, the stripes, and my hearts are now staggered. You can probably see that little heart there is in line above that. So, and then I'll knit that up, and then I'll double the rib on the other side, and then I'll knit a tube down in the center and connect it to this, and then it'll be extra squishy. It'll kind of stand up a little bit on its own, so maybe you'll see a little bit more of the hearts, and I'm excited about that. So, the other thing that I finished, I have another whip and I have another FO, and they're both kind of related to each other because I don't know if many of you follow me on Instagram, but my husband has started dyeing me some yarn. So I am so jealous that Aquila has her own live-in dyer in John. I was complaining because I had some white Malabrigo Arroyo yarn that I wanted to knit into a sweater with help with mohair. I don't know exactly what sweater I'm going to do with it, but I want something like airy, but with the mohair, so it has a little bit of fuzz. And I couldn't find a color that I liked to go with the mohair that I have. Let me grab it. So, the mohair that I have is this color. And there's no actual color name on here, it's just 15042. But anyway, I love this, and I wanted to hold it double, but so I just bought bare yarn. I bought that a long time ago, thinking that maybe someday I would dye it up. However, the only other time I tried to dye something, it was fiber, and I'm pretty sure that I felted it, because when I went to go spin it, it was very hard to pull apart. So anyhow, I was complaining to my husband, and I'm like, I wish I could dye yarn like John. Maybe I should send this out to get it dyed. And Bobby's like, dyeing is just like cooking. It's like all measurements and such. And I'm like, yeah, but I can't cook. I mean, I can cook, but it's well known in this house that he's the better cook. And he's like, well, I can cook. And I'm like, well, why don't you cook me up some yarn? And so he did. This was the Arroyo that he dyed for me for a sweater. And I love it. And it's going to look amazing held with that mohair. and I'm so excited. So I shared this picture with John, and the awesome guy that he is, completely encouraging my husband. He sent him like a dye pan and a little burner stove to get creative. Because my husband dyed these in a crock pot. I had the crock pot that for when I tried to dye fiber and felted it. And you know you can't, when you're using acid dye, you can't reuse that stuff for cooking. So it's just been sitting, like, never been touched in our utility closet. And I'm like, oh, I got a crock pot, and I had some dye because I had bought it, like, to play with, thinking that I would like it, and then I wasn't good at it. So then, of course, I never touched it, because that's how I am. If I'm not immediately good at something, I give it up. I know, but that's how I am. That's me. That's who I am. But he dyed this yarn, and it's amazing, and I love it. So then he's like playing around because I have all these dyes, and so I go through my stash, and I'm like, okay, I have lots of yarn that is actually dyeable, and I don't even have any more because he's dyed it all, but I had this alpaca that I got from a local alpaca farm that closed down, and I had bought a bunch of it. It was all lace weight, which I don't like to knit with lace weight. I barely like knitting with fingering weight. But it was like a natural colored alpaca, so like a very light brown. Well, it was called fawn. So, oh, I will show you right here. So it was like this color right here. And I'm like, oh, you could dye that up. And then I had some Lion Brand fisherman's wool in the oak tweed. So it's, you know, a bear color tweeded, like spun with a dark brown. I'm like, you could dye that up. I had like 5 skeins of that, and those are like double skeins. So he's been playing around with just my stash so far at this point. And he had a picture of Tokety Falls, which is a local waterfall to us that he loves to go hike at, and he sees colors differently than I do. I don't know, he's got a great eye for color, and so he dyed up the Tokety Falls color. And if I can't figure out how to put the pictures on here, go check out his Instagram. It's called Hearing Colors Dye Works. And he's just doing amazing things, and I'm like super proud of him. And I was actually not a big fan of the Tokety Falls color because it's not my color palette. I could appreciate the beauty in it, but it was definitely not my color palette. It was a gorgeous yarn for somebody else. And so, you know, I'm like, I don't know, what am I going to do? I'm not going to knit this lace weight into something for you because it's lace weight. I don't want to spend forever. Alpaca in my throat. So I was like, oh, I can weave it. Weaving's faster. So I wove him a lovely wrap, and he loves it. So this was the bear yarn that he dyed, and this was the Tokety Falls, and there's touches of orange in there, there's some turquoise, and there's an olive green, as well as a touch of chartreuse here and there. And it just really did match his inspiration picture. And then I wove it up into this lovely wrap for him. And weaving was so much faster than I ever could have knit him anything, because if anybody knows me, I don't like knitting shawls. I really don't. I want so badly to knit Vertices Unite like everybody else is doing right now, but I know I'll never finish it. So I had just a touch left over from the warp where I got to weave it across on each end. So you get to see that fun color play. I like it so much. It's like lighter than anything. And it's just gorgeous, and he really likes it. So he's just having a great time with dyeing yarn, and more or less that's basically what I have to show you is all the colors that he's made, which mostly are for me, but he really enjoys doing it, so he's probably going to end up selling some of this in the future. He dyed this for me. So this was my Open Spaces shawl that I knit for the knit along that Aquila held. I think it was last year. Pretty sure it was last year. The birthstone cowl. And I'm a June baby, so my birthstone is pearl, as well as Alexandrite, but I went with pearl because in this yarn it was a Road to China. There was a mother of pearl, black pearl, and moonstone were the names of all of the colors, but they were very like grays and white and blah for me. It was a good like staple to have, but I found that I never picked it up to wear it because I'd rather add a pop of color to my outfit than drag it down. So my friend and coworker Megan was like, why don't you just get Bobby to dye it like chartreuse or something? That's your favorite color. And so I had him just over dye this whole thing chartreuse, and the way that the different colors, you know, the white took the chartreuse wonderfully, and then the darker color is like very olive, and I just love it now. And now I find myself picking it up more often to wear. I love this shawl because it's got all these little open spaces that you can just tuck your ends into however which way, and it's not gonna, it doesn't fall off my neck like some shawls do. But look at this gorgeousness. So he's dyed that for me, and then I was telling you I had some Lion Brand's Fisherman wool, and if you know how that comes, it comes in like a bullet skein, and we had to wind it on the nitty knotty so that he could dye it up. And so I don't know what rock I've been living under, but I only recently found the Fiber Hustle podcast, and those guys are freaking awesome. Like, they put a lot into their show, and I don't know where I've been, but anyway, I started watching them, and Aaron, I'm pretty sure it was Aaron, was working on the Montrealer, or he finished his Montrealer for himself, and my husband's like, ooh, I really like that. The way that Aaron had done it, he had his stripes different, and so Bobby's like, I want that, and I'm like, well, I have enough in that fisherman's wool. If you wanted to dye it up, then I could make that for you. So he dyed up. Now he's still learning, okay? So he doesn't know all the things. So he's probably gonna get mad at me for telling you because he wants to be like he did it on purpose. But he didn't. So this is supposed to be olive. And in some spots it is, but the dye broke whenever he did it. So you get touches of orange throughout here. There's some darker spots in there, and it still looks amazing. He was kind of bummed at first, but then he was like, you know what, it's gonna knit up fine. So you see here, now this is non-superwash, and I don't know if that's what it has to do with it, but this tie was a piece of, I'm pretty sure, was from the Malabrigo. So you see how that's very olive, and that's the color he was shooting for, but instead he got this lovely caramely brown with hints of orange and some tones of the olive occasionally, and that is going to be the base for his Montrealer, which I am working on. So it just kind of gives me like teddy bear vibes. I don't know. I just love it. So, you know, that's how those little color pops are knitting up. It just reminds me of a teddy bear. I just really like it. I don't know. He's my teddy bear. And so then he dyed up the stripes, and what I'm going to do is we'll knit it down to the shoulders, false armpits, sleeve split, and then we're going to stripe the whole lower body as well as the sleeves, and probably there's like a little hoodie pouch on there. So the hood will be orange to match the top, stripes will be all on the bottom, and they'll be alternated with a small stripe of the main color. So his colors, and I don't remember off the top of my head which order they're supposed to go in, but I feel like it's something like this, or maybe like this. But anyway, these are, maybe it's like that. It's probably like that. The colors that are going to stripe down the body of his sweater. And so after he had dyed the main color first, and that dye broke, and so then he decided to do these a little differently. And he's still learning about like whether to start it hot or cold, how much acid first or not acid first. Like, do you start it and then bring it up to temperature? Like, do you let the color soak in? I don't know. There's so many things to learn about dyeing yarn. I am so glad that's on him, because as you all know, I like to just dive in and figure it out as I go. Whereas kind of with dyeing, you kind of got to know some stuff first and actually follow rules, and I'm not about that life. So this is some of the yarn he's done for himself, and this will be his Montrealer. And I just love this color palette. I really hope there's some left over, because I could totally have a cool striped hat. But we'll see. Probably not going to have any left over for me. So, because I love these colors, this is like totally me. Like, you know, it's like Halloween. It's like, yes, it does wonderful things for my skin tone. For my work, I picked up some dye for me, Happy Feet, and I love this yarn. And this is Chartreuse Beetlejuice. And this is going to live in a sweater for me eventually when I have to get more of it. And he's going to dye me up a whole Beetlejuice palette, and I'm gonna do some sort of fadey something. I might do the V-back that Chevy Roll just did, because I did the Scrappy V by the same lady and I liked that, but the V-back I think has like instructions for fading your colors down, which I've not actually done before. So these will get faded together. Like, I mean, come on. This is a Hallway of Lost Souls, so Beetlejuice reference. Chartreuse Beetlejuice. He's gonna dye me a Little Accident, which is Miss Argentina's Little Accident, to go with it, as well as a Delia. So I'm excited. I mean, like, come on, these guys just have to live together. Like, they have to. Look at that. And I mean, it just makes me so happy. And so, once upon a time, I did think I was going to dye, so I had bought a sock blank from my work that I was going to dye up, but we all know that story already. So I gave it to him, and he attempted to dye a gradient. Now, still learning, but he more or less did achieve a gradient. Now it's hard to see because it's now in a hank, but it was at once a sock blank from top to bottom. So the bottom, when it was in the sock blank, you could see was a lot darker than the top. And then because it was in a sock blank, you get all these fun little resist spots, and it kind of just looks like grape soda. So that's what it's called. It looks like little fizzy bubbles in a grape soda. So I don't know what this will be. Maybe I will, I don't know. I might do a giveaway for one of his skeins just because I want to share it with everybody. I will figure out who it'll be because I got a lot of yarn to show you. So this is grape soda. I'm sorry that this episode, #not sorry, this episode is all about my husband's yarn. I don't usually like to be like, look at this yarn, look at this yarn I got, look at this yarn I got. But a majority of this was dyed from stuff that was already in my stash. I'm like, oh, that's a bear yarn, that's a bear yarn, that's a bear yarn. Dye it all. And so then we ran out of yarn. So I ordered a little bit of yarn from Knit Picks because it was easily attainable, and then he started having fun with that. So this is the first one that he dyed from Knit Picks, and it's Knit Picks Stroll fingering weight, because I like to have fingering weight because even if I'm not going to make socks out of it, I can hold it double. There's lots of things I can do. So this is called, he's called this Gamora Nebula. And that's like an Avengers reference. And there's a picture to go with it on his Instagram. But I think we have a color palette here. Maybe just a little bit. If it's bright, yes. If there's chartreuse, yes. Purple, keep going. Turquoise, give it to me. So this is Gamora Nebula, and it's gorgeous. And this, he wants me to make something for him. Probably gonna make him a shawl because he wants to see his yarn knit up, because other than the Lion brand for the Montrealer, I haven't knit any of it up because I've been waiting to show it to you guys. I might just do a squishy little garter shawl and hold these double so that it'll go faster. I don't know, but I think that it would be, these are his favorite colors. Purple is his favorite color. He likes this. You add in the orange. He likes that. I gotta make him something out of that. So then he's like going from like inspiration pictures. He loves Oregon. This is where he was born. He loves the nature. There's so many colors everywhere you look. So he dyed this one again on Stroll, but this is Stroll Glimmer, and it is called, not this one. I'm putting the label back on because I'm trying to remember what their names are. This one's called An Evening at the Coast. And this was his first attempt at speckling, and he speckled with a little sifter thing for the first time. And it's just so pretty. And you've got like, the dark sky, the way the pinks changes into the oranges close to the sunset. He dyed the base of this first. He dyed it this gorgeous like silver gray. I don't even know, is it blowing it out? I think you can see it there, like this beautiful silver color, and then he speckled over top of it. And he got pretty worried that it was gonna be like a whole muddy mess, but you let the yarn cook, and then you let it dry, and then it lightens up, and it's just simply stunning. And I don't know what this is going to grow up to be. One of them is for sale on his Etsy because he wanted to snag a name for his, he wanted to snag his name on Etsy before, you know, it was gone because he noticed it was there, the Hearing Colors Dye Work. It's Hearing Colors Dye Work at Etsy because Hearing Colors Dye Works is too many letters. So, he just lets the color speak to him. And so one of these is for sale, but the other one, I've got to knit it up into something. It's very, very pretty. So he's just been doing 2 skeins at a time. He seems to like the control he has over the skeins when it's just a couple of them. He hasn't tried to repeat anything just yet. He still just wants to play with the colors because, you know, of course, I bought him more colors because I love all the colors. So then, you know, again, keeping with the Oregon, the local, to us, the salmon that swim up our local river are Chinook. And so he did one on a glimmer and one on a just stroll and stroll glimmer. So sparkly, not sparkly, and I'm pretty sure that's more or less what you see. So there's speckles, just a touch of speckles with fuchsia, and there's gray, I want to say. Pretty sure that's gray. I don't know. I don't really watch him when he's when he's doing it. And he just tells me afterwards, but this is a very me color. And this just needs to live around my neck in something, don't you think? I don't know. I have all this yarn now. I'm going to have to make things out of. Oh, pity, pity, pity. Just kidding. I'm excited. I'm just really happy he's having so much fun with this. And, you know, the yarn dyer community is so encouraging. He was feeling, you know, nervous about putting himself out there, like on Instagram and showing his yarn. But, you know, you guys are so nice. Like, you're willing to share and talk. And he's made a couple of friends on there. The next one that he dyed up is it's themed after, so you know, we lived on the East Coast for a long time before we moved back to Oregon, and we used to go to Firefly Music Festival, and it was like the best time of year. It was just him and I, you know, we lined up babysitters to take care of the kids. And it's just, you're surrounded by music for like 3 days, and it was so fun. And then at night, like, they'd have all these lights, and you know, like, there'd be laser shows. They had this forest section that you could walk through, and they'd have like kites or umbrellas hanging, and everything's like backlit with cool colors. And there's this one spot where we loved to hang out. It was like, there was this little patch of trees where everybody would just hang their hammocks, and you could see the main stage, and you could just chill in your hammock, and you could watch like Red Hot Chili Peppers or The Killers or whoever was the headliner that year. And we got to see and discover so much awesome music when we were there. And so he dyed this color called Hammock Hangout, and it's just like they had all these bright colors like lighting up the trees, and it's just so pretty. So this is on like a silver gray base with some fuchsia and some Aztec gold, and I want to say periwinkle, and probably touches of chartreuse, but it's just so pretty, and it looks just like his inspiration picture. Like, you can totally get that like glow stick music event vibe from that. It's just so awesome. He's just having so much fun, and I love to see him happy. You know, it's just really awesome. So then we've only got 2 more that he's been working on, and it's just really, really awesome, you guys, he's just really happy, and I just love when he's happy and excited about something, because sometimes, you know, you just feel like knitting excites me. It makes me so happy, and I have been blessed enough to have my job be about yarn, and it's awesome. And now my husband's about yarn, but he's excited about it rather than he loves when I knit him things. He gets excited about that. He sits and watches the knitting podcast with me, and so for him to be excited about dyeing yarn is just, it just makes my heart so happy. So he's done this one here, which is called Jewel Beetle, and so this is another one of those where it's my color, I just don't love the depths of some of the other colors that are in it. It's a gorgeous yarn. I wouldn't knit it for me. So, but I have one of my coworkers who's got gonna maybe try to call dibs on it. So this is a Jewel Beetle, and it's on this gorgeous Kelly green base with touches of I don't know what orange he used, but I know there's burgundy and some navy, maybe that's pumpkin orange. I don't know, but it is a pretty yarn. It's not one I'd pick for myself, but I'm not the decider of all things pretty. His sister hit the nail on the head for me. It kind of looks like a zombie, which made me like it a little bit more. But he's just having such a great time, and this is very his color palette, you know, a bright pop of color with some grungy, other colors thrown in there. It's so cool. It's really awesome. I tried to get him to come on here today and show off his yarns, but he's kind of actually very shy until you get to know him. And so he's just not ready for that. One day I'll bring on Mr. Knittress, and you all get to see him and chit chat. Well, maybe I'll do a Q&A or something. But he's just having such a good time. So the last one that he's dyed up here recently is called Mazama. And if any of you know, Mount Mazama is the mountain that Crater Lake is on. It's an inactive volcano. So this is called Mazama. I like this one. It's so pretty. You've got the dark blue of the water up there. There's some browns and greens, different greens in there, the pine trees, and it's very pretty. And this was his first attempt at doing a half and half. So I think this will do some really cool pooling and zigzaggy spiral in a sock. So when I get my sock machine, this is definitely going to be a pair of socks. How cool is that? My husband did this. I would buy yarn that looked like this. I would pay for a skein that looked like this. So I don't know. Does anybody else get it? Isn't that cool? I don't know, he's pretty handy. When he fixes our car, if, you know, my van's acting up and he fixes it, I'm I'm just amazed. Like, he did that. Like, that's so cool. Now he's dyeing yarn, which is like my favorite thing. So if you want, go over to Instagram, like his page, let him know if you think he's doing a great job, because he sometimes feels a little self-conscious about it, but I'm telling him, like, dude, these are like up there with like people who know what they're doing. Like, this yarn is awesome. I don't know. So drop a comment down below if you want. Give him some encouragement. Go over to Instagram and, you know, like his page or something. He's doing so amazing. Let me know if you'd want to buy one of these yarn or even win one. You tell me, you know what? Tell me your favorite one of these yarns and I'll make a giveaway. Yeah. You can't pick any of that Lion brand though, because that's all going to be used. But any of these guys that you want to win, let me know. Let me know, and it'll be the giveaway. The one that has the most picks, will be the one I'll do a giveaway with. And then next episode, no, screw that. Tell me the winner and I'll pick a random comment from this episode. And whoever has the most votes, that's going to be the winner. And just answer me a question down below. Just tell me what you would make out of the color you think is awesome. Tell me what you would make out of it. And I'll pick a winner before my next episode. And we know how I am with filming, so chances are you'll have, you know, more than a month to enter. So share it with everybody. Tell everybody they can win a free skein of yarn. And until then, take it all one stitch at a time, because that's all you can do.